सब समझती हूँ.
Please say something in Hindi.
Okay, what do you want me to say?
Whatever.
मेरा नया गाना Born Superstar आ रही है. गाना आ रहे हैं. आ रहा है. हाँ, मेरा नया गाना Born Superstar आ रहा है. हाँ. और
Go on.
मेरा नाम राजा कुमारी. आप मुझे देख रही है इंडियन फोक म्यूजिक प्रोजेक्ट पे पीयूष के साथ. मेरा नाम राजा कुमारी. नमस्ते. और मुझे चाय पसंद है. सब समझती हूँ लेकिन बोलने कुछ मुश्किल है.
So this is the Indian Folk Project. Hi, मेरा नाम पीयूष है. I have with me Raja Kumari. I have to ask you, if you have the initials RK, you're already a famous person.
Yeah.
Rodney King.
Was that the first reference?
Or Rishi Kapoor. Or
that would have been one to start with.
Raja Kumari.
Raja Kumari, Raj Kapoor. Start with the guy.
Raja Kumari, Raj Kapoor. Okay, we'll. Of course.
No, it's fine. Los Angeles. I think that was the connection that you went to right there.
Yeah. So, was it the other way? RK should be kept because, it just came.
The name came. So I'm a classical dancer. You know, I started learning Kuchipudi 6 years old, and I did my first Arangetram at 7, and Pandit Ravi Shankar was the chief guest at my performance, you know. So I always say my first career was from like 6 to 15, where I was like classical dancing, coming to India, you know, and they would always call me Kumari Sweta Rao USA. That was my name on all the banners, on all the billboards, whatever hand-painted billboards. I would come to Hyderabad, and I did a 15-city India tour.
Oh. When I was 10. Yeah.
Yes. So I got to see the country in a very, you know, interesting way as a child and really connect with so much of it, you know. But they said Kumari Sweta Rao. So I always loved the name Kumari. It was always part of my name. And when I wanted to make music, I had done all the Arangetrams. I had, you know, done this whole career, you know, and I thought if Sweta Rao goes to perform, all these uncles will show up and they'll expect like Kuntala Varali Tillana, like Sadin Chene. They'll be like wondering what's with my costume. And I was rapping, you know, so I wanted, you know, everyone would call me like in the ciphers, you know, you've seen like 8 Mile, like the ciphers in high school. They would call me Indian Princess. So, I mean, that was like the most they could understand, like Princess Jasmine. And I liked it, but they would call me like IP. And I was obviously like a kid. I was 14. So I was like, IP, UP, we all P. I can't do this. So I was like, fine, call me Raja Kumari. And I think because Telugu has that influence of Raja Kumari, but I made it 2 words because I thought every man should call me king.
Yeah. That's RK for you, another famous RK. I mean, the first in line because that's
and
the lady.
SRK. He also has the RK.
SRK.
Yeah,
yes,
SRK.
see.
R is also important.
Yeah, the dots are connecting.
Yes, of course. Wonderful. Manifestation is real.
Do you manifest?
My entire career is pure manifestation. Like at some point, I think now, not at some point, about 15 years ago, I sat down and I made a vision board, but I made it in a different way. I didn't make like 1-year goals, nothing like that. I made folders on my computer, like, you know, places I want to visit, just images. Like I studied religion in college. So, you know, ancient places I wanted to go to. Yes. I went like Amarnath was on there, Kedarnath, there's like Machu Picchu, all these places. And I sat in front of this like giant board and I just made this visual representation of my life. And I photoshopped myself over a billboard of Diddy, random, in Times Square. And even the picture I chose, it actually looks like the billboard in Times Square that I got. It ended up being me in a sari. So I think I want to say like 75% of the things, even when I put them there, I didn't quite know why they were there. And then later would find out, like I had obviously Mohenjo-daro and I had like Leh Ladakh and I had like some different places that I liked the image and I was like, I want to go here. And I did my DNA like test and like obviously I come from a Telugu family, but I was like 60% Sapta Sindhu.
But parents were already telling you, why did you need to get a DNA?
No, because I want to know where we come from, you know, because as somebody who studies like history, then like I studied Indus Valley, I study like all the groups that intermingled, how the art was formed. If you study the evolution of language, you can see like how people moved. So I've had this fascination with like Kumari Kandam, another Kumari thing. So, you know, it's all connected. So I really wanted to know. And my markers were like full Mohenjo-daro. One was Leh Ladakh. So I was like, that's so crazy. They're on the vision board.
I have to say that you're the most learned of the musical artists that I've
I'm a
interviewed.
scholar, sir.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
a degree.
yeah. I know. We'll go there. The manifestation bit sounds like the Jim Carrey manifestation. It
Oh
was
yeah.
very.
Oh yeah. I feel like I didn't write myself a check, but I said some very bold things to myself in the beginning, and they were very, even when I put A.R. Rahman on the board, he's holding his 2 Oscars. And I remember when I printed that picture out and put it there, I thought, he is the furthest away from me. He is a bright, shining shooting star. I have no idea how I will get in the room with him. But when I get in the room with him, my life will change. And that was like playing in my head. So when I was in America doing songwriting sessions, I would ask every American. I would ask like every Chris and Harry, hey, do you know A.R. Rahman? Because I knew that he worked with people in LA, and some like layman American wouldn't realize that he was working with like God, like my musical father, the person that taught me about fusion, and like that I knew was so attached to my like destiny. And I asked so many people. Eventually I asked this like, there was a guy, he was like this like Hasidic Jew like lawyer that I asked, and he's really amazing guy. Anyways, he knew Raghav, like Angel Eyes, storyteller Raghav.
Yeah. Raghav Sachar.
No.
The other one.
Raghav.
Oh, okay, that Angel.
Storyteller, who's also an incredible fusion artist who I also visualize working with. I was introduced to Raghav, and that same day he goes, okay, well, AR's in town. He said he's willing to meet you today. And then I always used to say out loud, like, whoever introduces me to A.R. Rahman, I will owe them a favor, like a boon. Like in the Mahabharata, like you can collect this boon at any time. So
did he?
He hasn't yet, but he can have. I mean, who knows? I'm going places, so if he's smart, he'll use the boon. When the time is right.
You've studied mythology. I have to say.
Intensely.
I have to say, when people ask for boons, person is in trouble.
Oh yeah. But I give boons.
How many people have you said Tathastu to? I
think it's a better way to live. I think like I feel this journey the last 10 years in music, from releasing my first project, and I've been assigned like a published songwriter for about 10 years. I used to be so emotionally attached to so many parts of it, and I thought like this is the thing that's gonna make it. But then what I've understood is there's no like making it moment. It's all coming in waves, and it's about enjoying yourself in the moment. So there's so many distractions in the music industry, so many ways to be pulled from the source, which is the music. So I think after the 10 years coming back around, it's like, as long as you just focus on that,
And you focus to be the born superstar.
Yes. I mean, there are some things about, destiny, I think. And I think that a lot of people are afraid to accept the calling that comes to them. I think it comes from a lot of fear. And I think when I meet people in India that have been influenced by me and my work and what I speak about, they always talk about like the courageous confidence. And I wonder if maybe that came from me growing up in America with that idea that I can do anything. I can become the president, I had that in me. So when I came here, I just, anytime I would have a vision, like I will headline this festival, I didn't have that doubt that came in and said, who do you think you are to even have that dream, So I wanted to like write this song about, having the audacity to believe in yourself. It's the audacity, to hear the signal, from the source, from God, from the universe, and not doubt it immediately, but go towards it, like if it feels expansive, then you move towards it. So, at the time that this song came about, when this project came about, I was taking my year off, which I'm very lucky to have been able to do. And I wanted to take a year off to feel embodied and to really understand where I want to make my music from, because I became very reactionary. Like I just made whatever music was coming to me, whatever directors were asking me. I only made music in those moments. I wasn't making music every day because the rest of the job had taken over. I became a fashionista, and I started running my own company and learning taxes and, all these things. But I wanted to be embodied before I made the next project. And when this song came to me, they were like, you can do this project. It's a creative platform. And by the way, it's with your musical father, A.R. Rahman, that you dreamed of working with, even before, you even had a dream. And I just thought, we've done some things together in the past, but it's always been like random. So I was like, it'd be amazing to really create something. And I felt like a lot of pressure from the industry to do like very commercial things. And I was doing it, but I really wanted to do something different with this. And since I had the creative control, I wanted to do a fusion with Telugu because I think breaking people's like ideas of you, like just breaking through them is really important in evolution. And I think people have just pigeonholed me as like an English artist. And even when I'm singing, they still say I'm a rapper. It's bizarre. They're like, I didn't know you could sing. And I'm like, what was I doing on the Skater Girl Netflix? I'm like singing a high E above middle C. Like, how did you mistake that as rapping? And so for this song, I didn't really want to do like the glamour and the thing. I was like, I want to write a song about a girl that loves where she comes from and that she doesn't want to give up who she is because of society. Because that's where I was. I'm doing my Sola Somvar. I've like,
Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm 13 weeks in.
Damn.
I'm almost done. Yeah.
Only 3 weeks to go. But what? Okay.
If you see me in Kashi, then I've completed the Sola Somvar.
So whenever you spot our spy cams, if you're on surveillance,
I don't know.
And then we'll know whether you've completed your 16 weeks or not. I have to ask you this. Do you, every time your manifestation, it becomes true, do you reflect?
Of course.
Reflect back? Do you get emotional? Do you feel that you've changed you might have changed the course of your destiny?
No, I feel grateful to be chosen to be on this wonderful ride. And I must have done something in my past life to be given the gift to make music in this life. There's so many, the most abundant thing on this earth is like wasted talent, and like wasted opportunity. And I just feel like every time I get to make music and perform in front of people or inspire someone, that I'm doing my dharma. And I just hope to do it well. I hope I do my job. Whoever I'm supposed to inspire, I hope I do. That's it.
I saw the video and you're looking smashing.
Thank you.
I remember because that made me go back in my mind and remember the first time I saw you. It was, I don't remember the year. I was based in Delhi, as I told you 2 months back. I've shifted to Bombay. Bombay for me.
Yeah, I say Bombay. I know I get taken down online, but I'm like, leave me alone.
So I remember my friends, and I'm not a very outgoing kind of a person. I'm a homebody. So people pushed me and said, "Chal chalte yahan par. There's a great gig that's happening." I was like, "Yeah, nahi yaar. Agar sharab peeni ghar pe baith ke pee lenge."
I'm the same. I'm such a homebody. I probably missed too many gigs.
And then I entered, and there was too many people, too much loud conversation, too many loud conversations happening. And then there's this girl performing right there, all dressed in Indian, and very. Had a Firang seen it, we would have been, oh, what an exotic.
Yeah, of course.
And I saw, and I'm like, okay, hold on. I couldn't hear because there was the music that much because I was far from the stage, but I heard it and I said, who's this girl? She's Raja Kumari. I'm like, damn, this woman is gorgeous and so is her singing. What the hell is happening? But then, cut to, I forgot, and then I saw City Slums.
Oh, so it was before City Slums, so 2016 you saw me on my first. Did you come to Summer House Cafe?
I'm sure.
That was my first performance in Delhi.
And I
know I had a beautiful, the Suhani Pitti. Yeah. That was a good night. My mom was there in the front.
And do you remember that performance?
Yes, I do. It was like this. People were this close to me.
Yeah.
And it was, for me at that time, I was signed to Epic Records. I had made that whole album. And they basically said, Indian girls don't rap. And I was like, yes, we do. And there's a whole hip hop culture blooming in India. And I'll prove it to you. So that tour, I took cameras because I was like, let me show you. So I was on such a mission to prove that, they were ahead of everything. So those were my first like real shows. Obviously in India.
And people were going actually crazy.
Night. It was so like, I would love to do shows like that again, like really intimate again. Because I feel like I'm reintroducing myself. I think like I took it to the zenith of like what was possible in like pop starness, like Capes and Rahul Mishra and John Legend and like 5-part orchestras and like, flowers falling from the ceiling. And now I just want to be like, hey, I want to talk to you guys about what it was like to make these songs and just like sing them like this. But,
You know,
Evolution, you know?
I personally believe that when an artist is performing on a stage and the
Yeah.
audience is here,
Yeah.
uh, of course, that's larger than
It's a
life.
different type of performance.
It's a different type of performance.
Yeah.
But when it's up close, personal performance, I don't know what it does to the artist. Can you tell me?
You know, so what happens when you're on stage, and for me at least, I don't know about others, but the general public, whether it's like 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, okay, it just turns into like an energy. And I can kind of pick out faces, but mostly I'm just dealing with the wave of energy, and like I can feel it change. I can feel when I lose them, when I need to say something, and I just tend to that energy. And there's a part in my show where I go like, everybody inside has a chakra system. If you keep your, I'm saying it like funny, but it's very serious to me when I say it. I'm so intense in that song because I've come to this like place in the show. And I say like root to the earth, crown to the sky, chakras aligned. And this is how you manifest, you know? And sometimes I can like, I don't know, I do this thing where I try to like send them like a electric shock of energy. So usually after shows for like 3 days, I don't leave the threshold of my house.
Oh.
If I have the ability to do that, then
It's
I
like
do
Robert
it.
Downey Jr. doing this, throwing the flowers at
Oh
the people.
yeah. No, yeah. It's crazy, but the show is a full exploration. You know, it starts with like classical dancers. They come and sanctify the stage, and then I bring a version of Devi to stage because I'm a classical dancer. So Raja Kumari to me, the reason I can separate myself and I made a character is it was like modern Devi. It was like a combination of Mahishasura Mardini, Satyabhama, Draupadi. You know, it's willing to take the pain and emotions as long as I can express them for others. And, you know, there was a lot that went into the imagery and the mythology behind the character. And yeah, I feel like it became my like defense.
Every time I hear the song Satyavame, I visualize you.
Yeah. You know, the Satyabhama Kalapam is a piece that I really want to learn. In my year off, I was supposed to do this, but I ended up doing a lot of other things. But I wanted to go learn at Kuchipudi village and go learn the Satyabhama Kalapam because, oh, come on, I'm that attitude. I'm like, how dare you have other wives? You know, like it's a vibe. But yeah, I wanna see more of that. I think like the next 10 years of my like career, like I feel like I want to invest my energy into music infrastructure, education, songwriting, workshops to be able to give people some of the information that I was able to collect by living in America, by being, you know, I had the opportunity to get signed in 2012, you know, to a publishing contract. So it's like, I see so much talent in this country. You know, when I was on Hustle, I was the judge there. And like, you know, I've been in a position to have a lot of artists, you know, ask me advice. And I just realized that they don't have the infrastructure here that we had in America, where I wrote a song with someone, they were signed. So someone was like, who are you? Then I got discovered, then I got in the system, then I was working, then I was making money. It's like, that's not necessarily here. So I think people are making steps towards that, but I'd like to be a big part of that, you know, in the future.
What I also like is, I mean, there might be other people also doing it. We have other artists also doing it, but you're one of the few artists who are giving back to the society.
I mean, I hope everybody is. I'd like to do more. I appreciate you saying that. But I do feel like that's why I'm saying my renewed interest is I came to India with this idea of that my
But
dad.
you don't talk about it much. Why?
You know, I got lost. I got lost in all the work it took to try to get to the million. You know, like when you're organic and you don't pay for followers and you don't pay for streams and, you know, you're doing things differently and you're the only female in a very male dominated space. And like maybe for them, the budget is they splash water on their face and wear a backwards hat. But I'm coming with like, you know, the whole production. It was definitely like a struggle. I got lost in the struggle. Oh no. What was the question? I lost it.
You don't talk about it.
That's right. That's true. You know what? Let me come back to it. Because of all the dramas and the circles and the politics and the things that I learned in the last 10 years, I just felt like my energy was going there. But I really feel like the reason I didn't put out an album this year, the reason I'm taking my time is I don't want to move forward until I see the Kumari Kids program up. I just feel like, who am I? Can I go stand in front of people and say I am who I am if this doesn't happen? You know, so I definitely feel like this. I've been working on a songwriting manual, which shares like a lot of the the thoughts that I have about song. I taught like at All About Music. I taught a workshop, and I realized how much that information was needed and how it wasn't presented in that way. So I was like, okay, I'm going to present it. So I want to talk about like interpolations and internal rhymes and AABA and using like, with some tension and release and, melody is king and how to like work with all these things that I've learned from different incredible producers. So I want to, create that and teach that around the country, tier 1, tier 2, wherever I can go. Yeah, I want to see, my real goal is like, obviously I want to win a Grammy one day. Yes, of course. I'm part of the Recording Academy now, so I get to vote. So I'm one step closer to voting for myself. Okay, one step closer. And but I feel for my legacy, if you were to ask me if what I would leave behind, I do want to find a young artist in India, a young girl, and I always try to focus on kids under 18 because I think like my dad, if he didn't invest in my art, I wouldn't have been here
He's
today.
a great character and I would love to talk about him, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like if Kumari Kids, which is the program, if I could step in and help with the music education thing and take some of that pressure off the parents, then we would have the opportunity of having more lifelong artists. Like I've been an artist since I was born, and that is a very unique experience. And I think our country has so much culture that people for thousands of years, for time immemorial, have looked for us to copy us, to get our stuff, to get the things that we figured out, whether it's science, music, architecture, fashion, everything. And I just feel like we need to invest in that more.
Do you accept the fact that there are not a lot of female rappers and hip hoppers in India?
There's so much more now, though. Like, I think if you asked me,
I mean, if you compare the ratios.
oh, of course, but it's a different country. It's a different situation. If you think about America, yeah, there are a lot of female rappers, but it's like one kind of genre in a lot of ways. It's like, it talks about a certain type of life and it uses a certain type of language. But when I was growing up, there was so many options. Like there were artists like that. So there was Lil Kim and Foxy Brown, but there was also Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott. There was India.Arie. There was so many female artists to watch, to learn from. Brandy, Whitney Houston. But now it's like a little homogenized that like it's hard for anybody to like, they have to go search for that. So I would say like when I came to India, there were definitely like a handful, and I did a song with them. I did Ronnie Cypher because I was like, I see you. I know how hard it must have been to convince your parents to let you go to these ciphers when they weren't backed by Red Bull, when they weren't backed by Universal, how hard it must have been, So I have a lot of respect for the females, I worked with Siri, Mebaphilia, DMC, Agsy came from Hustle, and Fo is Fo, I don't know, PHO, Fo, I'm gonna call you Fo, honey. But, she has a great tone, and you can see the effect of exposure to good music and what is happening in the new generation of musicians. But obviously there could be so much change. That's what Godmother Records is for. I want to create a safe space for women in music because I've learned so much of what happens behind the scenes and how people silence women in different ways. And if I can use, whatever I've created, all of this that I've created in the industry, if I can use that to let like a soft girl stay a soft girl, like just because maybe my music is working doesn't mean a girl who's a singer-songwriter needs to start being gangster. There should be so many different types of musicians, So that's my goal, is like to try to create an infrastructure of female creatives. And, all my music videos, like, a lot of my bigger projects, I've tried to have them be female-led because that's how we create the.
So very interesting bunch of girls. I don't know whether you've come across them, Wild Wild Women.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I've seen.
They are just too good.
It's like a very. I try to tell people that
And because this is the Raja Kumari school of thought.
Oh no, I can't claim it completely. I feel like I feel like even MIA was before me. I was inspired seeing her on the Coachella stage at 6 p.m. And history is just when you decide to start it, right? So we can go back even further.
That's written by victors, and you've come a long way. Yeah.
But what I would say about Wild Wild Women, which is like I saw like a video of theirs going viral. I always tell people when it comes to hip hop, okay? In America, it was created in a time in the 80s when people, like a community felt like, they weren't being heard. They had a lot to express and angst and it was a form of revolution. It was a form of, all kinds of ways to reclaim their power. And I said that hip hop in India is in the same way formed. And if 60% of the population is under 30 and hip hop is the language of the youth and the vehicle of the future, then if you see all these, like not vernacular, what's it called? Regional. Yes, thank you. There's terms. If you see all the hip hop that's coming up in the regional languages, it's very authentic. It's not like watching Cardi B and being like, I want to be just like her. Like, that is not what's happening in India. What's happening in India is that the beats of hip hop also borrowed from Indian music. I mean, you look at 2001 Timbaland and he's just full sampling Indian songs. So if there's already a cultural exchange between like the rhythmic nature of the music and the culture, I think like what's happening in India is very authentic. And I always say like, oh, it's like a seed. If hip hop was planted in India, it's a different soil. There's different sunshine, but the tree is the same. The breakdancing is there. The graffiti is there. The rappers are there. Like everything is happening and it's an exciting time. And I feel like more females are going to come out, but we need more festivals that book females.
Yeah, because we see Taylor Swift, Beyonce selling, Adele selling out.
Yes, of course.
And in India,
we have
that's
Sunidhi
yet to
Chauhan.
happen.
We have Sunidhi Chauhan.
We have Sunidhi Chauhan.
Come on, she's a superstar. I saw her transformation. I just kept watching. I was like, go get it, girl. Go get it, girl. And now her hair is down to here, and she's the hottest. And I love her so much. And she's our Shakira. You get out of our way. And if I had to export and I was like, you want to know what we do? I put Sunidhi out there and be like, get out of here. I dare you to sit in your seat. We have talent.
Give me. No, we have talent.
We have the talent.
We have talent, but I was talking about like the way
sorry,
selling out.
I got so excited about Sunidhi.
I know.
It's because the fashion,
she is just too good.
I want her to live. I want her to just thrive and just keep giving us this energy.
What I was talking about is like these artists are selling so many stadiums and all. In India, that's yet to
Yes. But we're seeing it with the Punjabi music, which is fascinating. And I think that also should be thought about. Like all these talks about like India being the biggest streaming, the biggest area for streaming, the biggest growth and all these things. But if you really look at it, it's Punjabi music.
Yeah.
And that's quite fascinating.
Karan Aujla.
Karan. Say his name.
Diljit. Karan Aujla, AP Dhillon.
Yeah.
And these are
the boys.
The boys.
But the boys. Yeah. Maybe I should sing in Punjabi. What do you guys think?
The boy.
The boys. No, Brown Munde. Brown Munde have come. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nobel Prize or Grammy?
Oh my God. Nobel Prize. Forget the Grammy. I'll just vote for other people forever. I'm in the Recording Academy. It's fine. I'm like, hey, no, Nobel Prize. I mean, look, when I was a kid, I said, basically the way that I even got into music, I was a classical dancer and I would be raising money for, the Indic Foundation to build a wing in the hospital in Bangalore, or like a meditation hall for, handicapped children in Hyderabad, which I went and visited. And, when I sat in that hall that was built from my classical dance, I realized that art could create something real. And I would go on to like perform, but like at some point I call every uncle I know. I rinse all the really rich uncles, like, give me money for this fund, And one day I raised $80,000 in one day, okay? And I had rinsed
And when was this?
This was when I was like 16 years old, 17 years old, okay? Like back then. So I had sold tickets to everyone, VIP tickets, took a $20,000 check on the stage from this uncle. I had Prem Uncle, thank you for funding Indic Foundation. But
was it Salman?
No, this is in America. I wish if I had access to Salman during the time that I was doing it, I'd be shaking him for money. Give me $1 crore. You can afford it. I would tell him, I'll name the whole building after you. That's what I would have done. Salman, I'm coming. I want to build stuff. Anyways, when I raised the 80,000, we needed 2.5 million for the Indic Foundation to make a chair. And I was like burned out. I had done the performance. I physically exerted myself. And then I asked them, I was on the chair. By the way, I was on the board. I was the secretary of the Indic Foundation. Why they put a child there? I was like, all right, cool. And so I was so passionate.
The money.
No, I'm bringing in the youth. Anyways, I found out that 80,000 had just gone into operational costs for the year, and like some 6, 7 students had gone through the program, but that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to instill the Indic Foundation chair. So around that time, I was a huge fan of like NSYNC and Britney Spears. Like, I was part of watching MTV, like I was very much in that fandemonium, and I knew what a fan I was, that I would buy anything with their name on it. McDonald's puppets, like I had the whole collection. And I just had this thought, or whether I had this thought or God gave me the thought, because it was quite, it changed my life. I was like, if Justin Timberlake mentioned the Indic Foundation at a press conference before he stepped off the stage, it would be fully funded. And I was like, how do I get to a bigger stage? I can do a performance in 600 people, 1,000 people, but that's it, classical dance. And then I was also like, how do I get classical dance to a stage where the whole world is looking at it? Like how? And that's why even with Born Superstar, it's like so much part of that story, because that was the dream. I just saw one classical dancer in the back of Michael Jackson's video and I'm supposed to find my identity there. Like, no, I want to see it on the most exalted places. So when I thought about that pop star thing, I decided I need to become a pop star. And that is why I did it. And then I always said, like, okay, I'll make all these songs, I'll make all these things, but I hope to be remembered for my philanthropy.
So let's go. We'll have to let Grammy go.
Let's
settle for Nobel.
I'll settle for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, I like that. Yes. I didn't put that on the vision board. Maybe I should add it.
You should.
Maybe.
After this, today.
I never even considered it, but I was like, you know what? How do I get in that committee and start?
And vote for myself.
How do I get in the committee to vote for myself? I think that's the way to do it.
Coke Studio Pakistan, Coke Studio Bharat.
Okay, that's very controversial, but the answer is, why is Coke Studio Pakistan so good? It's so good. I have a lot of friends that have done music. Obviously, Ali Sethi, Pasuri, I got to perform it at Coachella with him, which I feel like was such a groundbreaking song. And then my friends Carpe, who are a Norwegian pop group, they have a song called Pia Pia Calling, and they did it on that side. So I feel like I wouldn't want to choose, but I definitely got Coke Studio Pakistan on the playlist.
Wonderful.
That's where it is.
Do you hear your
But
own
I
song?
do have the India tattoo.
Yes.
So don't get it twisted, okay?
Yes.
Don't come for me, okay?
But do you listen to your own songs? As a consumer, not as a critical person who's created it and then like...
So fascinating, because there's like phases. Like when I'm creating music, I pretty much don't listen to anybody else. I listen in loop and I'm thinking about, should I change the frequency to 432? Like I'm like an insane person. I listen to it on different types of speakers. And I feel like when I'm in the album creation process, I don't break much from my own music unless it's like something that I'm rooted in, like the Fugees or, like maybe early Kanye or Nas's first albums, just for references if I have some feelings. But I'm actually the weirdest person. I wasn't listening to music. My friends were all like, this is the weirdest thing in the world. Like, they're like, put on a playlist. And everyone's like, she doesn't have a playlist. But now I think as I've healed, I listen to like a lot of Bollywood music now.
No. My question to you is, do you listen to your music and say, this shit is cool?
Oh, like that. Oh, no. I thought you meant like my life.
As a fan, do you listen to yourself?
Okay, I'll say this. I have a picture on my phone. If somebody has my phone, can I see it really quick? Look, I'll show you guys. Here, off the side. Yes, she's showing you that. So I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that it's me as a kid on the piano? Can you guys see this somehow?
Oh, wow.
Yeah? Okay. So I keep this here to remind myself that I am literally living the dreams of this child, like where I'm sitting there learning the piano. So sometimes I'll listen to the music from her perspective.
Oh.
And then I cry.
Do you?
Yeah.
You cry often?
I cry when I've done what I'm meant to do. Like when I wrote the song Mira, which was on my first album, where I talked about my love for classical dance. Both feet drumming on the earth. Can you feel the vibration? And like just understanding and developing that rap thal, where I finally like was able to express what I knew. I remember that night I listened to it like, I don't know, 30 times. And at 3 a.m. I was just like sobbing, like with my headphones on. And my friend walked out. She's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I finally did it. Yeah, I definitely.
That's what I meant when I asked you, when your manifestation becomes a reality, how do you?
Oh, I'm also the observer. So I get to enjoy as the observer also.
Are these the out-of-body experiences?
I have out-of-body experiences while I'm on stage. There's one one version of me that's like reciting the lyrics without even thinking. There's the observer that's like, wow, look at that. They should move that fan. Or like, wow, look at that person. How cute is that sign? I don't even know how it can go at the same time, but it's
Your matrix is happening at the same time.
I don't even know. I call the stage my mandir because I really do feel like, you know, because as classical dancers, when you step on stage, when I bring you Devi, Devi is there. I'm sorry, I've channeled her. She has come. She is going to show you through me. And I think I apply that on stage. So it's a very out of body experience. Like I'm on a ride kind of. And then I don't usually watch the footage. Only if I need to make something or like, you know, I need to give someone an edit, but I usually just let it go. Like you had an experience and I'm like, I haven't thought about that show since, you know, it happened, but it's stuck in your mind.
It always, because to be honest, like it's on a dating app, right? A dating app, the visual is the first interface. And I was like, gobsmacked. Man.
Yeah. I had the red lipstick. I was like very, very Indian that day. Yeah. Thank you.
Only two crushes that I ever had. One was Revati. The second one was that girl who was performing there.
Oh, how sweet.
So I was like, oh damn. And a thing for the South Indian is a thing for me. So I was stuck there and it stayed in my memory. But the performance was amazing.
Thank you. That was back in the day when I would just get up there with the microphone. Then I like made it into the most enormous production with like full band, like everything. It got quite crazy, but now I'm pulling it back. It's back to the musicality, little fashion, but yeah. But
you're a fashion icon now.
I love it. I put that on a vision board. Okay, I made a PDF in 2020, and I was like trying to tell people, no, I'll accept it. I'll take it happily. I work like one. I have a separate schedule for music and a separate schedule for when is the fitting? Will it be ready on time? Is the look with the aesthetic? Can we post it next to the other color? So I've had fun. I always think that the fashion is equally as important to the music because can you imagine a classical dancer on stage without the costume?
Yeah.
Like you saw Born Superstar, right? Yeah. And the crazy thing about that video is I actually haven't appeared in full classical in any of my videos. One video in 2017, Believe in You, and 16. So my second music video I made in my house. It has my own puja room. It has the mountain behind my house. And yeah, I wore classical in that. And I danced at the Malibu Temple. And there's footage of me as a 6-year-old on the same stage. And that was the last time I kind of touched it until now. And I think that that is very symbolic to, you know, where I'm at as an artist. That, you know, when I got the opportunity to make something, you know, on this platform and have A.R. Rahman over it and get the creative freedom to really not have to placate different things. I was like, this is the time to make something for her. She didn't change, you know, she wanted to.
She's still alive?
You know, what's so interesting, Sweta, she is still alive. I'm wearing her necklace. Now I'm coming back. That's what that year off was about, you know, like doing things and understanding that I don't have to be like, now that I've made it as a musician, it doesn't mean I'm like, I have to do everything that comes. I need to enjoy my life. Everything has to be on purpose and present, you know? So she's definitely on her way back.
And Nexa Music is this track on Nexa Music.
Born Superstar.
Yeah. Is it bringing you closer to the Sweta?
You know, that's so fascinating. So that's really what the video is about, actually. It's the integration of the two sides. And it's the larger than life poster of myself as the superstar is the Raja Kumari, the character that I built in order to not have to deal with the world as Sweta, as a young girl that gets offended if people hurt her feelings or they don't like her work. You know, obviously it hurts, but Raja Kumari will cut your head off, you know, and it became my hyper masculine side. So I think like finding the balance between Ardhanarishwara, you know, masculine and feminine has been the goal. And this song just kind of celebrating the softness, the being a born superstar means you accept, you have the audacity to believe in yourself and celebrating like girlhood in a lot of ways. I know it's for everyone, but girlhood, and that's why I listed, you know, Karina, Shakira, Madhuri, Jennifer, you know, Aishwarya, Deepika, because these are, you know, women that I will reference when, if I need to feel really confident for a red carpet, I'll be like, Padukon Kumari. You know, like I have characters, you know, obviously Madhuri, how much I worship Madhuri and she knows, you know.
Your music video made in India.
Of course. I mean,
how was that? Talk to me about that. Because this is like, Dreams
So-
coming true.
Oh man, Made in India was my first single on my album, on my label, Godmother Records. So I knew after 7 years of knowing her that it was the right time to ask for a favor if I never asked for one before. So, you know, she's the best. And I think someone who has been working her entire life in the industry, they wouldn't have survived in the industry without having that kind of good nature. And, you know, Dr. Sriram Nene and everybody, like they're like, you know, they've become like a family for me in Mumbai. I don't think I would be able to be here if I didn't know they were there. Whether I see them enough, I'm like the daughter that never comes home from college. I'm like a little sister that never comes home anyways. But you know, I asked her, I was like, what a trip it would be to see you lip sync to my voice, you know, like for me to be the voice of Madhuri. And it was so beautiful because we both are wearing matching Gaurav Gupta gowns. And that was my first time in couture like that. And that would begin everything. But I ended up like having to direct that video. I mean, out of necessity, not necessarily, you know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff, but we made it. I was on the mic in the Gaurav Gupta being like, more wind, Madhuri, give us the sexiness, you know, like I was like, give me the daka daka. She was like, whatever, you're crazy. So, I mean, an experience for sure. I wouldn't take it back. Very crazy. No.
Let's talk about your famous elephant memory.
It's elephant memory. Oh, Iggy. Are bapre. He's like, let me get that thing. Yeah. I mean, there's more of those. It happens all the time. It's like a pattern. No, I think that in life, you know.
You remember very small things that a 6-year-old or 5-year-old wouldn't remember, but you still remember. That's what I want to know.
They were important. I think that like there's certain moments if you are, because I've been a lifelong artist, I see art in everything. I see God's artwork and I see how he's a writer and how he's funny and how he's witty and how he's suspenseful and he foreshadows things, you know? So I've learned to be very observant of that. But I feel, you know, that was a turning point for me because maybe I had accepted the idea that we were good enough for background vocals and to take as samples, but, you know, and to take our culture and wear it like a costume. Because in America, I'm fighting for my life in America, you know, like the racism is real. It's not, it's different, you know? So
Now?
It's different now too. I think about like my nephew.
After the results?
Oh, that. Are bapre.
It's okay. You can
I live in India.
You can say subscribe.
No, just subscribe. No, I've become passionate about a lot of things and tried to, you know, use my platform in different ways. But I've acknowledged that my platform, and I mean, maybe I'll be called to use it in different ways in the future. But right now, I just think like women need to see someone doing it on their own terms. And maybe I make mistakes and maybe, you know, you've seen me have my ups and downs, but I've always did it with the intention that it should inspire someone else. And that if my dad, you know, was able to accomplish the American dream and, you know, give me the opportunity that in one generation I got to be a pop star, you know, I want to share that because I believe so much in the talent in this country. And I think that crabs in a bucket mentality will keep us stuck forever. And we've come so far, like only after like 75 years of independence, America was a mess, you know, like how far we've come and where we're going. And I think that the arts are so, you know, they really are influential. And I think with everybody looking to us now and hearing our music and seeing our stories being told on Netflix and, you know, our actors being cast in like sexy roles and stuff, I think the times have changed, you know, with Never Have I Ever and everything. And I look forward to seeing a new generation that is not so plagued with identity issues, that can, you know, be proud of where they come from. You know, like when my parents left, the dream was to go to America. But if you talk to someone, you know, my age or younger now, they know how great their life can be in India. And I feel like that's something special too. Like I always feel like I came back, and that should tell you guys something about the rest of the world.
It's been 6 years, 7 years in Bombay?
Yeah, I came in 2016 for my first shows, and then I moved in 2017 right after Trump became president. I was like, time to go. And
oh, that's symbolic.
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
I'm not connecting dots.
No. I mean, yeah, it just was. I just felt like, you know, I made the cover.
And this time again,
of the
you're in
album.
India.
I am. I happen to be.
It's just destiny.
I made sure me and my parents were in India. Yeah,
so, what, like, last two questions, because otherwise the team is going to jump right in front of the camera. And this is so distracting, I have to say. But anyway, that's the time. That's
You'll
the time.
edit it. It's okay.
Yeah. So, what contribution, if you have to tell the 6-year-old on your phone about this man who stood with her, the father, what message would you give her or tell her to do things right by him?
My dad?
Yeah.
My dad is the best. I ask him all the
Now,
time.
because you've done this entire journey, right?
Yeah, he just retired, and I'm like, damn, Dad, you did it. You got me out. You did it, Dad. I just think like, I asked my dad once when I was like trying to learn cash flow and take over my company. I'm like, the world sucks, Dad. I asked him when
You can be a doctor later.
No,
you can be a dancer, right?
he still wants me to be a doctor. He's like, you can still go to medical school. I'm like, Dad. He said that to me as I came home from my billboard in Times Square. So I was like, Dad, no.
You have to be a doctor.
No. I always asked him, I asked him recently, when you pray, do you specifically tell God like your issues? Like, how do you deal with like if someone's not paying you on time and you owe people and like, aren't you going crazy? Like, how did you deal with all of it? Like how? And he was like, I never asked God for anything. I just am thankful. And I just feel like that, I was like, wow, I sit there and make a list. I like this. And if you could give me this, I used to, I don't do that now. I'm like, thank you for the air in my lungs. I don't know, I'm just trying. But I would say to my dad, like, he didn't know that him being, like, he was feminist in a ways. He was radical because he told me he wanted me to be self-sufficient. He wanted me to be educated. He wanted me to pursue my dreams of music. Like when I graduated college and I was going to go to my PhD program to study religious studies, my dad was like, the thing you're studying is like pretty ancient and it's not going anywhere. So maybe you don't want to spend your like 20s in the library, like for the next 6 years to become the youngest, professor, maybe pursue music for 1 year so you don't regret it. And he doesn't really remember that being so like monumental that he said it to me. But I mean, I feel like he got animated by God to give me the turning point in my life, So yeah, the reason I want to make Kumari Kids, the reason is because I was very lucky to get a father that invested in my art and that allowed me, to be a expressive, woman that has confidence. And, I want to be that for others. Yeah.
And you're setting a great example, must say.
I would just say thank you. You asked what I'd say is thank you, Daddy. You're the best.
What can we expect from this? Because I heard that there are 4 tracks that are dropping in next Music Season 3 along with yours.
Yes.
What do we have? What can we expect?
Well, I mean, first off, superstars. Hello, I'm just kidding. I mean, AR obviously is going to make a song, which means we're all getting a gift. Basically, whenever he gives us music, we're being gifted, and we should be grateful. That's number one. And then, it's King, Arjun, and myself. And I spoke to Arjun, and he's really excited about his record. King is killing it. So, I mean, for me, you guys are getting a very honest, authentic piece that I was very invested in. And the music video is with Shweta Warrior, who is a classical dancer that actually choreographed on bindis and bangles. And we've been, connected since then and have been wanting to do this piece together. Yeah. So it's a long time coming. And Yoku from the Sat Bantais and Shah Rule are co-writers on it. And it's produced by Karan Pandav, who is my producer. So it was a labor of love. And the video, was made by an incredible team, Abhay and Ripu. And, everybody at Nexa has been really supportive of it. So I'm just hoping a lot of people watch it. And, if you have little sisters that are like starting their dance class soon and you want to maybe inspire them to learn Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi, please show them this video. They don't only have to learn Bollywood and jazz and hip hop. There are other styles. Yeah, that's it.
2 last things. Okay. One, when we meet our heroes, we actually want to say a lot, but we don't say it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything to Rahman?
Oh, I'm shameless, by the way. I just say everything to his face. I'm like, because we are super fans of you, we need to hear that part. And I'm like, and also I think that he loves me because when I tell him jokes, I think everyone's like, like, which is perfect. But I feel like if everyone did that to me, I would get like annoyed after a while. So I'll come in and I have like jokes ready. I'm like, here's my playlist of new people I'm listening to. So, I mean, if I could say anything to him, I love you. You're the best. Whenever you need me, I'm there. And thank you for everything you've done for us, making the music that you made, being fearless, being that type of fusion artist. You showed me what was possible. And if I ever had a dream, it's because you showed me it was possible. So, yeah. He knows. I tell him every time. I'm like, hey, how are you? How was your lunch? By the way, I'm only here because of you. Like he's like he with MD, with Shahrukh, everybody. I just behave like that. I'm like shameless. Like I'm #1 fan here in your house, ready.
Last thing, there's this series that came on Netflix, IC814. It was about the Indian airplane being hijacked.
Okay.
So there's a scene there.
It's going all over the place.
No. So I'll come to the point.
Okay,
straight.
okay, no.
So there's this, while interrogation, there are two characters, one played by Arvind Swamy, and the other is this Mr. Manoj Pahwa. And it's early in the morning. Arvind Swamy, somebody asks, what would you have? So Arvind Swamy says, I'll have tea. And he's playing a South Indian character. So the North Indian guy, Mr. Manoj Pahwa, asks him, sir, aren't you South Indian?
No, she had coffee.
You should have ordered coffee. Sir, coffee is like religion.
Yeah.
There's no place for misrepresentation.
Yeah.
But chai is chai.
Chai is chai.
But you have, I find you enjoying your chai.
I love chai. No, chai is a way of life for me. I was going to say that when I travel in America, before I leave, I keep a jar of, like, obviously chai powder. I have to carry this strainer because...
And this is not the green tea of the...
It's Taj Mahal. Or it's something even
Bastard.
better. Yeah. All of it, whatever. I have a friends in New York that open Kolkata Chai Company. So they usually give me tea, like the chai powder when I'm there. But yeah, I carry like the chai patti, I carry the strainer, and I carry the elaichi, and I get ginger and milk wherever I am. And it makes me feel like, it's the one thing that I do no matter what country. So like when I travel, I try to get hotels with a stove or an Airbnb just so I can make chai in the morning and feel like a human being present in my body.
What do you want to be written on your tombstone?
Got it? Tombstone? There won't be a tombstone. Put me in the Ganga. There's no tombstone.
If there is a plaque for you or a wall for you.
See, the thing is, my music's already been on terrestrial radio, so it's playing into space for all eternity, never ending. So that's how I'll be.
But Nobel over Grammy.
That would be on my Wikipedia, I guess.
So my producer is saying, it's time. Yes, it's time. Tea break time. Thank you so much.
Kumari is...
All the best for your single. It was great chatting up with you.